What a treat to be able to sit next to you and talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure. Nice to be with you.
We are here at Tavern 23, your namesake. It was Lou Nanne's and then Tavern 23, and 23 was your number.
Correct.
And is your number, I suppose.
Yeah.
Did Michael Jordan steal it from you?
Yeah, he's after me. I had it long before Jordan had it.
Right. So I think
That's what I tell everybody when they say, "Oh, Michael Jordan's number." I says, "Look at the age and chronology. You know who had it first."
Right. I think he picked it because of you.
Yeah.
Aren't you sure?
Yeah.
When did you first put on a pair of hockey skates?
I really can't remember. I'm sure I was probably 3 or 4 years old. When you grow up in Sault Ste. Marie, especially at that time, there's nothing else to do, and not even television in Sault Ste. Marie at that time.
Really?
So everybody, because of our winters, we have long winters there. We're northern Ontario, so we're up in a cold area with a lot of snow, and everybody skated. Whether you played hockey or just liked to skate, it was just something to bide the time. And I guess I was like everybody else and just started skating when I was very young.
Did you have siblings?
Yes, but my sister's 4 years younger and my brother's 9 years younger.
Okay.
So they really didn't have any effect, on me skating or not skating. And my brother probably skated because by the time he came along, I was playing. So
Yeah.
So that maybe influenced him a little bit.
Were your parents skaters?
No, well, not that I know of. They were workers. My father had a little grocery store, and across the street from there, my mother had a little clothing store, and they spent 6 days a week in those stores and worked very, very hard. So, my folks really didn't even see me play hockey. My mother saw me play one game juvenile in my whole life. No college, no pro. My father saw me play, I think, 2 games in minor hockey in juvenile. He saw me play 6 college games, and I think he saw me, this is in person, and I think he saw me play 2 NHL games. So
Wow.
growing up, they just worked. And in fact, my mother said, when I was 18 years old, I said, "Mom, I need a new pair of skates. I need a new pair of tacks for $92. Oh, $92? No, just quit hockey. Don't worry. You're going to be a dentist." I said, "Yeah, but if you give me a pair of skates, I know I can get a scholarship. We'll find a way to pay for your school." So I had to go to my grandmother to tell my father to get me skates. So
Wow.
that's how I got them. Yeah.
Wow. Well, how did you know that you had the ability to get a scholarship, or when did you really realize?
Well, teams were already calling me. So
Really?
yeah, and I playing in Sault Ste. Marie, we had a team that didn't lose, in town. We never lost. We had 6 of us eventually that played with that team. Within 5 years in the NHL, we were all in the NHL. So,
You're kidding.
Yeah. And like Phil Esposito, Tony Esposito, Gino Briaco, Matt Ravlich, Ivan Boldrov. We had a lot of guys that played in the NHL.
Wow. That's kind of incredible, isn't it?
It is incredible for basically a neighborhood area.
Yeah.
From a small town in Ontario to have 6 of the NHL, that was really something.
Wow.
Then there were other guys after that. In fact, another one later on became Hall of Famers, Ronnie Francis. I grew up with his mother. She was Zerchetti, and she's Italian, and this all Italian neighborhood we were in, basically.
How many kids were in your high school graduating class?
I don't know. I would say probably about 200, 250.
So a small school.
Well, we were 40,000 people at the time, and there was only one. There was one high school and one trade school. So we had one high school when I was. Now, as I was graduating, then they opened St. Mary's, which was another one. So city started getting bigger, and now there's 75,000 people there.
And how did you decide where you were going to play college?
Well, I was owned by Chicago when I was 13 years old, so they wanted me to go to St. Catharines to go to McMaster University. They didn't have a dental school, so I wouldn't do that. I wanted to go to Toronto, play for St. Mike's and go to the University of Toronto, but they said no. St. Mike's is owned by Maple Leafs, so They said, you either play with us or you're not playing in Canada. So I had to go to the United States. And the schools that I was talking to, Minnesota had the best dental school. And I was supposed to be a dentist. My mother's brother was a dentist, and I could have gone home and been, right in the practice. And that's what she was sort of talking me into. But I took pre-dent for 2 quarters. And then I dissected a frog and pulled the pins out, and the frog jumped out of the plate, and I went right over to the interest place and found out I had a better sales interest. They said the highest one they've seen compared to being a dentist. So I switched to business school.
Well, if you stayed in dental, you could have had a bang-up career being a hockey player and dentist because, most hockey players need a lot of dental work.
Well, that's what Mariucci said when I came down. He said, what are you doing being a dentist? You're supposed to knock out teeth and put them in. So.
I love that. So at 13, you
Yeah.
were owned by Chicago.
Yeah, in those days there were 6 teams, and if you played in one of their sponsored teams, they had your rights.
Wow.
And so that's why all of us from the Sioux, except me, went to St. Catharines, where Hull and Makita played, and all the great Blackhawk players. Well, Phil, he had to go there, Esposito, and a lot of my teammates went there, but I wasn't going to go there because they didn't have a dental school close by.
So what was your first impression of Minnesota? I mean, it's a lot like
It was
Canada.
hot. It was hot.
Minnesota was hot.
Yeah,
That's the first person I've ever heard say that.
When Mariucci called me, I didn't know where Minnesota was. I knew where Illinois was, and I was thinking of even Indiana. If Notre Dame would have had a hockey school, then I'd have gone to Notre Dame. But they didn't. And so he called me and asked my mother, where's Minnesota? And she said, remember your aunt went to a clinic there? It's down in Rochester. It's close to Minneapolis. Okay, fine. So they flew me down, and it was in August, and boy, it was 95 degrees, no air conditioning in the hotel. I slept in a bathtub. I put water in the bathtub and sleep at night so I stay cool. I thought, oh God, this is really hot. But the cab driver told me there was no snow, and I hate snow. So I said, how much is not much? He said 3 inches. I said, good, I'm coming here then.
Oh, funny. Oh my gosh. So were you a good student?
Yeah.
Were you?
I've been a good student.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate, yeah.
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 And your parents have obviously put an amazing work ethic in you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you take
Well,
from them.
both their families were, my mother had to quit school in probably, I want to say, in 11th grade to take care of my mother was from a family of 10, and she was the 4th oldest. 2 oldest were boys. One became a doctor, one became a dentist.
Wow.
The next one was a piano teacher, but she had to quit school to work in the store with my grandmother and grandfather, and my mother quit to run the house. So
Wow.
that's why she said, you're going to school.
Yeah.
And then she had 4 other sisters who were nurses and teachers and stuff like that. So they had, with the exception of the 3 girls in a row there that had to quit school to do things around the house, and they were a very, very successful family in things that they do, the things that they grew up doing.
Yeah. Well, that runs in the family, clearly. So how does it work then when you're playing college, and then do you go right to the pros, or how does that work?
Well, when I graduated from college, I had a very good career there, and in senior I was very lucky to win all the awards. So senior, and I even won the scoring as a defenseman, which was never done before, and never done alone by a defenseman without being tied. So it still stands. But
Wow.
so I was in good bargaining position, so to speak. But you never had good bargaining position with 6 teams in the league. So we had agreed to a contract in May. I had gotten married the year before. Now when I graduate in June, my daughter was born right there at the end of May, and so we had no money, so I had to go to work. So I took a job as a chemical sales trainee with Archer Daniels Midland because I agreed to terms, figure I'd quit in September when I go to camp because I already agreed to a contract. Well, when they sent me the letter to camp, they didn't send the contract. And I said, you forgot to send the contract. They said, oh, you get it when you come to training camp. And I knew they had all the power. That's what they do. And And I said, well, no, I don't work that way. He said, well, Bobby Hull doesn't come without a camera. I really don't care about Bobby Hull. He hasn't got a college degree, a wife and a child. Now I got a baby too. So I sat out. And
Wow.
and so I sat out for 5 years.
You did?
I wasn't going to play because every year that they'd come down and give me the contract, I was making more money where I went to work for McKay Envelope, Harvey McKay, and I was very successful doing that, and I was making way more money than they were making in the NHL. So now 11 months later, we had twin boys, and then we had another boy. So we had 4 kids under 4, and there's no way I was gonna go to work for less money. So they put a bill through Congress for me to get instant citizenship to play with the U.S. Olympic team. So now they expanded the same year. So the North Stars wanted me to sign. I said, no, I'm going to play with the Olympic team. And when the Olympics were over, I came home and signed because I became a free agent. Because when they expanded to 12 teams from 6, they couldn't keep anybody on the reserve list over 30 players, and that was it. So I became a free agent.
So you never played for Chicago?
No.
Wow, but they kind of controlled your life in a way. I mean,
they did until I was 27 years old.
Well, and were there agents back in the day? Did you hire an attorney,
No,
or you just tried to figure it out on your own? And thank goodness
I was my own agent.
you had a great business mind and a great, wow. I never knew that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. So, how did you meet your wife before we get on to the North Stars?
Well, like I told you, I'm in the Italian neighborhood, and this French company developed a lumber company right down the block from me, where their offices were. And my wife's father was a bookkeeper for that company, and 2 French families moved in right around the corner from me when she was 12 and I was 14. So that's when I met her.
So you met in Canada?
Yeah.
Wow. And then did she come to Minnesota to school?
No, she's from a family of 11, and she's the second oldest. Her oldest sister became a nun, so she finished high school and had to go to work to help support the family.
Wow. So you recruited. She was your first recruit.
Yeah.
You worked your magic in that department too.
Yeah.
She's the keeper, right?
When I first met her, she didn't speak English, so I had to teach her English. I tell her.
I bet that goes over well.
Yeah.
All right. So you're still working and playing for the North Stars, right?
Right.
And that's got to be challenging.
Not really. I mean, just spend your time doing what you do. You know, I'd play hockey and during the winter and fall and winter, and then when the season was over, then I'd go to work, because when I signed my contract, to make them pay what I want them to pay, I signed a personal service contract. No one's done that, and I had to do other things to make the money I wanted to make. So I gave them the right to sell me in the summer to any company that they wanted, and I would sell for that company. And I started a hockey school for them, and I'd make every appearance for them. So I did a lot of other things in the summer, so just to make sure that they could afford me.
Well, that's fascinating. I mean, the fact that you could even, I mean, had anyone else done anything like that?
Never before or since.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
How many years did you play for the North Stars?
I played for 10, and I became the coach and manager right during the last season there in February. Then I was the manager for 10, then I became president, stayed 3 more years, then I quit to go into financial business.
I remember watching you coaching more than anything, as you know, as a younger person. But those malted cups in the old stadium, I mean, the little ice cream cups, that was almost as exciting as watching you coach.
I like those myself.
So one of the things that fascinates me the most about coaching is like the skill that you have to see talent in other people. How do you think you achieved that gift, and what is it that you look for to figure out who's gonna, have all the things?
Well, there's a lot of things. First of all, they gotta have good character. They gotta be willing to work. They have to have hockey sense. They have to have the skill set. They gotta be, I think if you look at all the players that ever played professionally in that, they are driven. They have a drive to succeed, or they don't last long. So a lot of different characteristics could come involved in it, and everybody will tell you differently what they think is the most important. But I think they all get down to essentially you got to have the character to do it. You got to have the hockey sense, because if you don't know what to do, or if you don't understand the game, I used to say I got a cousin, he could skate faster than anybody, but if they took the boards out in the back of the rink, he'd skate right to the steel plant. He wouldn't know when to stop. So you got to have hockey sense, and you also have to have the skill set to do it.
Yeah. What can you develop in a player, and what can't you?
You can't develop how to score. They can tell you all they want, but the guys that have the technique to score well, that's really a gift. You can develop how to skate better, how to shoot better, how to check better, but you can't develop how to score better. You either have that gift or not. And the great players in any sport, they play the game at a slower pace than the rest of us play it. I used to I play the game from the ice level, and Gretzky'd play the game from the press box level. So the great players see everything develop at a slower pace, and that's why even the great scorers, they have that knack, that ability to slow the game down.
Really interesting. And do you love hockey?
Yeah.
Did you always love hockey?
Yeah.
Like, you remember loving hockey from the very beginning?
Yeah, I still miss. The only thing I miss in life about hockey is not being able to play it. I don't miss being in coaching, managing, president, any of that stuff. I don't miss that for 5 seconds. Never have. But I'll miss playing hockey. I played until I was 62. I was playing with the Hollywood celebrities and the North Star alumni and some NHL old-timer heroes of hockey games. But when I had my knee operated on and stuff like that, the doctor suggested I quit. But I really miss playing. I wish I could go out right now and go play hockey.
Have you put on any skates since then?
No, I only put on weight. Yeah.
I set that one up nicely for you.
I put them on a couple times with my grandkids, and I went over to practice. One of my grandsons was playing knee down. After practice, I went over to play with them a bit. It's
got to be so fun to watch you've got great kids. Mark is in my business in commercial real estate, and you've touched lots of commercial real estate over the course of your career. And now you told me Mark's son is also in our business, so I got to look him up and do a deal with him too. But they're JLL, both of them, right?
Yeah, Michael's with Mark there.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Great. Well, so if you want to touch with greatness, you can do a deal with the Nanne family, right?
Yeah, you got it.
But you have to be so proud of your family. You've done such a good job, and the interaction I've had with your family has just been amazing, and your grandkids now, and
my wife's done a good job. Well, she's more involved in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's done a great job, and the kids were very proud of them all. And not only the kids, but the grandkids, and now we got 12 great grandchildren with 3 more coming. So
you do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big family.
So do you get together often?
Yeah. Not often. I like to, I tell them we'd like to see them on Memorial Day, July 4th, Labor Day, and Christmas. Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay. So and do you see them all of those holidays?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's going to be tougher at Thanksgiving because I've had some move away, so they all won't be coming back for Thanksgiving. But the other times we see them.
Yeah, and you've had the ability. Did you have the ability to coach them? And
I never, I did. I let the coaches coach our kids. I never really got involved. I give them some tips or some things I think that they should try doing. But I stayed away from it a little bit because I don't want to be telling the kids something that their coach might be telling them something different. And I just wanted them to play like I played without my father and mother's interference, and didn't affect me. I played because I loved to play, and I found my way, and I wanted them to do the same. I don't want to have imposing presence on them that might affect them. And even when I go to games or something, I never cheer, never yell, never scream, just watch the game.
Just try to stay in the background a
Yeah,
little bit and
yeah.
put the spotlight on them. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
On them and their coach. I don't want to be interfering in any way. you know.
Yeah.
I was able to learn from others, and I felt they could learn from others.
Wow. Well, I'm sure they learned, I mean, besides the genetics, I'm sure they also learned a lot of things from you
Well-
that made them all great at what they do.
Well, the best part is they all got the good work ethic, and that's why they're successful.
Yeah. I think that's a key common denominator. Hockey has afforded you to be able to do incredible things. What, I've listened to you talk many, many times, and the stories are incredible. What are some of the things that have stood out that are just, you kind of had to pinch yourself, you couldn't believe you were sitting in that room?
Well, as you said, I've had the good fortune to do a lot of things, and that included like making USO tours to visit the troops during the Vietnam War in 71, 72, and going to places around the world, being able, like I played in Russia, I was all over Europe playing and seeing all these places, and Russia I was there in 67.
Wow.
When it was really a tough time. Kiev was still Russia. I played in Kiev. The places I've been to, the things that I've seen, and then my own business, where I've traveled, I've been able to. Somebody says, so what's on your bucket list? Where do you want to go? I says, I have no bucket list. I've been everywhere I want to go in the whole world. So I've been able to go all over the world. Basically every country that I wanted to see, I've seen in every place. And so now I just keep going back to Italy a lot more because we enjoy Italy so much. But and the people I've met is I've met people from all over the world and had great experiences all over the world. We were able to take our children a lot of nice places that we wanted to go. So I don't I can't say what's better than the other because I've had too many betters.
That's really, really,
Yeah.
really neat. I think when you walk in a room, most people look at you and, are thinking, oh my goodness. But are there ever times when you walk in a room and look at someone and say, wow, it's super great to meet you? Or how do you, you're such a good citizen and a good community person, and but you're a legend. So
in my own mind. I'm very grateful I've been able to meet a lot of people in all different walks of life, and it's something that I guess I'm more impressed by how the person is than who the person is, because when I was out of hockey before I started playing the NHL, I once there was a team in town, and I ran into them in Duff's Bar, and I remember how one athlete talked to me, and I didn't even know him, he didn't know me, but not in an argumentative way, just the way he had just dismissed me, and I said, I'll never be like that. And so that's what's most impressive to me is how people treat other people.
I love that. I love that. What's the trick to staying married for, how long have you and Francine been married?
63 years.
Wow. What are your secrets?
Well, I told her, I actually told Frank Vesselero and Amelia 3 years ago, we were having our 60th anniversary, and I was doing something at State Fair and for K-Fan, and right next to it is CCO, where their booth was, and Frank said, come on. Frank and Amelia are good friends of our daughter Michelle and Tino Leteri, and they knew it was our anniversary day, and says, tell me the secret to your success. I said, well, my wife wanted to go to Italy real bad, and for our 25th anniversary, I brought her to Italy, and she loved it. And then when it was her 50th, I went back and got her. So I always say, being away, and not being around her too much for giving her anything to grab about. Because
Do you have bruises?
yeah, I travel. Yeah, yeah.
She's
I didn't know
probably
she
your
was looking. She was watching TV that night. That didn't go over well. But I think it's we've been very fortunate and very lucky and a happiness, and we work hard at our marriage, and on top of that, she's so good covering up for me because I'm not, like I said, my business, everything else. I've had to travel so much, and she's essentially, disciplining the kid. I'm traveling, she's got to discipline the kids, and she'd call me and say, "Okay, I'm telling your dad right now what you're doing." So, I guess the phone was really important.
Were you on the other end, or was she just
I
bluffing?
No, I was on the other end. She'd call me and tell me, and I'd threaten them. But no, we've been. I think we just have a great understanding of one another.
Yeah, it's not easy. This
No,
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, anytime you're going to be in close quarters with somebody all the time, there's going to be sometimes you're going to have some friction.
Yeah.
You got to be able to handle that and understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's a constant effort.
Yeah.
Right. But that's lovely. All of your different businesses, you've been involved in all kinds of different things, right? How do you decide where you're going to put your effort? Because you have so many opportunities.
It's whatever I decide I want to do.
Okay.
I'm going to do the best I can do.
Yeah.
And it's got to be something I enjoy. I'm not going to I don't have to do something I don't like to do. And I've had the good fortune of having some success in the things I do, and because I love to do them. If I didn't want to do them, I wouldn't do them. I don't do things I don't want to do, and I think that's a big thing. Because it's much easier to be good at what you're doing when you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I say no matter what you're doing, you got to enjoy what you're doing, and you have to know that as I used to tell kids when I go to banquets, and I'm very lucky that I played hockey and they put sports on a pedestal for kids, and kids, oh, there's my hero. And no. I said, I'll tell you real heroes. I said, if you got a real bad plumbing problem, you need a plumber. He's your hero. And if you got a bad toothache, the dentist is your hero. And overall, the people sitting across the dinner table, your mother and father, are the real heroes, because everything you want to do, they take you to. They do. So it's just appreciating what others have to do, and how fortunate you are that you're able to get it done by them, and I'm very appreciative that people are interested in what I do and what I can do with them.
You have been such a pillar of the community of Minnesota. So after you discovered that there's a little snow and there's heat, what was it? Just the work that kept you here? Or you stayed so loyal to Minnesota, done so much for this community.
You said it earlier. Minnesota's a lot like Canada growing up, and the value system, the way people act, the way they interact with one another, even when you get right down to the climates between Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Sault Ste. Marie are very similar. But I think it's just feel comfortable. People made me feel, and my family feel comfortable, and I think that's why we enjoyed it so much here, and it's beautiful, as you know, especially when you love the seasons. You got them here, and the proximity to everything you need, it's right there. It's just, I think the culture, I used to, when I was general manager, Honeywell used to hire me for one day a year.
Okay.
And I used to have to go to speak at universities why people should come. They wanted to get engineers.
Oh, interesting.
Why engineers should move to Minnesota.
Wow.
So I did a lot of research on, strong parts and et cetera, and the weak parts. And I found out that Minnesota's about the toughest place to get people to move to. And it was the second toughest place to get people to move from in that era.
Yeah, interesting.
Because after the people get here, they enjoy it, and that's what I think has been the foundation of the state and the Twin Cities, and that's why it's important we try and maintain a lot of the greatness in certain areas we've had. I think it's really important to the people of Minnesota that we were such a unique state and easy state to be in. That it's very important to keep it like that.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about hockey, but I'm going to keep talking about business if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
One of the things I think is different about Minnesota today is that the leaders of our businesses aren't here. Take Target, for example, and aren't as involved in the community. I mean, you had the opportunity to work with lots of our industry leaders, and I feel like that we need more of that again, I think, to get these major companies to you've done so much for the community, and you stayed here, and it's been amazing for this community. We need more of you.
Well, it's always important that the leaders of the state, as you said, are here, and the leaders being in commerce and industry and stuff like that, and of course you got to give them reason to stay too. Some of the things maybe that were done, people weren't too happy with, and there's a reason why they're unhappy. You got to look at a lot of different things. The one thing, when you look at a state, any state, you're gonna have people with different thoughts on how it should operate, and people are either happy to stay there or not happy to stay there, and if they're not happy, they move. So you got to figure out what would make the most people happy, and where could you get the most agreement on how something should run.
That sounds like a beautiful thing. Maybe you should run for
No.
office.
I'd last about an hour and a half.
I hear ya. How did this restaurant come to be?
When I was playing, I had a lot of opportunities to get involved in the restaurant. People used to ask me if I would get involved with them, and I never wanted to do it when I was involved in hockey, because if you win, everybody's happy when they come. If you lose, they're all giving you crap or stuff like that. I said, I don't want any involvement like that. So 9 years ago, this group came to me and says, I want to be involved with you in a restaurant. Would you do it? I said, yeah, on these conditions. And I said, I don't want a sports bar. I want a classy place. I want a place, first, good food, good service, and then I'm happy about it. And so we had a little interchange, and I worked it out with my partners, and we opened this up.
And you spend a lot of time here.
When I'm in town, I come around to greet the people and say hello, and answer questions, take pictures, whatever they want. And so I really enjoyed it. And so when I'm in town, those days, I'm usually at the restaurant, 3 times a week at least, because that's about the number of days I'm in town.
How do you keep up the schedule?
I don't know. I just keep doing it. I never really thought about it. I just know where I have to be and where I got to go and what I want to do. This afternoon I got to fly to Sacramento for a business thing tomorrow. Come back Friday. Sunday I go to Florida. It just moves.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. This was such a delight.
Well,
I just really enjoyed getting to
Not
know.
a problem, yeah.
You did good. You did good. Thank
thank
you
you
so much. I really appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
It's so
Nice to
fun
be
to get
with
to
you.
know your story better.
Thank you.
Thank you.